Hi guys, Ali Duzette here. My baby is insistent that I wear these baby Batman sunglasses. So to keep her quiet, that's what's happening here. Hi. This is Cytel Schults, and she is one of my best friends and colleagues, and she is also in the healing space, and she also is familiar with the stars, and particularly from a gospel perspective. Um, and so today we wanted to talk about Aries season, which is almost here. Yay!
I
Hooray!
love it. I love Aries.
Ah,
Aries is the best. Can I just tell you why I love Aries so much?
yes, please let me have it.
Okay, so when I hear a lot of stuff in people's voices, like that's my focus, right? And especially like the moon is the base of our sound because it is our internal world, it is our essence, and so it creates that base. When I first heard Aries, I was like, oh yes, the airy sound is like a blowtorch for the body. So when people have an Aries moon and they're like really sitting in that sound, people just move. Like they do whatever whatever that Aries moon is saying, they do it. And it like it's like they can't help themselves. I watched it happen in a grocery store. Like there was a line. So we were at the grocery store and we were waiting for these two women who were standing in the milk section. And they had the door open and they were like huddled together and they were just having this conversation. I don't even know what they were talking about. I was so into the conversation that my husband was having, I didn't even realize that we were like second in line. Um, so it's just like all these things happening around until this woman walks up. She opens the door, like the fridge door, all the way, and she goes, "There's a line behind you." Takes her milk and then walks away. And I watched these two women like they moved immediately. And all of a sudden, like the guy in front of us got his milk, we got our milk, we were out. And I could feel it like create this movement outside the body. And I was like, she either is an Aries moon or she is sitting in a whole lot of Aries moon energy in her voice because her voice created so much movement. And I think that's one of the reasons why we love spring so much is because it creates this like really fast movement where we see buds popping up, where things have been dormant for so long, and it's just like the body of the earth is actually moving and we can see it. I
That
love it.
is incredible. Wow. And I love that. I wrote down the blowtorch of the body because I mean, yeah, Aries just gets a fire going under you and makes things happen. It makes those flowers grow. And I don't know, I mean, Aries, let's go back for a second. Aries, and when the sun enters Aries, which is going to be on March 20th this year, 2023. Yep. It is considered the astrological new year. And so this is when, you know, astrologically speaking, everything is starting over, everything is becoming new. And I don't know. I mean, of course, it's Aries, um, but I just love that this is helping everybody start something new. So I'd love to get your take on. I don't know. Can you think of anything that you think most people should know about how to harness that Aries energy over the next 30-ish days? The sun will be in Aries, so that we can, take initiative, initiate something new. How are we going to best use this energy in our lives?
I say the first thing that I hear when you ask me that question is don't be afraid. Like, and that's like low, don't be afraid. Like, just write it and maybe even, and this would be so great, like set a specific thing that you want to see movement in your life. Like, what area do you want to experience this physical movement in your life? It doesn't need to be in your body. It could be in your marriage. It could be with your kids. It could be with your business. It could be a cleaner house or, a cleaner car or a new car. Like any of these things that you really want to experience this massive movement in, because Aries really just brings, like, it's that fire starter, the torch, like, we are moving and going in that direction. And so if you can really set that intention, I think we can harness it, because that's what I'm seeing is like, a wild horse, and then you just like throw the reins on and you jump on really fast, and then you're off to the races.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's so true. I mean, I love what you are saying about basically intention, right? I think Aries season, whether people realize it or not, it always brings new life, new growth, shifts, and maybe you recognize them consciously, and more likely you don't, but you are going to be starting new things this season because that is the nature of the season. And that's why the real power is going to come from choosing what you're going to put your attention on. What is it called where attention flows? Do you know the saying I'm thinking
Where
of?
something goes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, I lost it. Well, somebody will comment below and they'll say, I can't believe you forgot it. But um man, something grows where attention flows or something like that. But the
Oh,
point,
attention flows where energy goes.
okay, attention flows where energy goes. Thank you so much. So there we go. Where we put our attention, we open up this flow of energy into our lives. And this is one reason I think, I believe in synchronicity, which is when things happen that, otherwise people would call it coincidence, but it's not coincidence, it's synchronicity, where things that defy the odds are happening at the same time for some kind of reason. And I think kind of the difference between, are you experiencing synchronicity or are you experiencing coincidence? The answer is just in the energy. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm ready to witness miracles, the miracles you witness will be synchronicity and you will notice them and you will be grateful. And if you wake up and miracles are not on your radar, whatever miracles you notice will be a coincidence to you and you won't recognize them for what you are and you won't be happy about them. Like when you wake up every day and have this mindset of intention and expecting the good to flow to you, then it's not a surprise. It's just this happy celebration every minute of the day as the good just flows in. And that's our big chance with this Aries season, is to consciously choose into that.
Yes. And I think, like, right along with that, when we start to open up that energy in that specific area of our life, I feel like it creates a vacuum. And then, like, we start seeing, like you're saying, that example of the miracles where you're like, I want to start seeing miracles. And then you start seeing onesie twosie here, or like little tiny ones here. And then it like multiplies exponentially. And then all of a sudden you're like, I see miracles all the time, all day long. And they're not just small, they're like really big ones, like where we put our attention, that it opens that, and then it just vacuums. And hello, I would like some of that with that Aries energy in my life in some specific areas.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. Yeah, I think we have a lot of good stuff to look forward to if we put in the good energy. We get to kind of set the agenda here, right? Like everything in the scriptures, we learn everything is created spiritually before it's created physically. So we get to choose every day. This is something we do every day. You can do it for the beginning of Aries season, and you can do it at the beginning of whenever you want. And anytime that you do it, it's the beginning of something new. So you can always just choose that you're going to choose what you want, and you're going to start creating what you want spiritually so that it can show up for you physically. And so I really hope that we all actually do that for this Aries season. Again, this is the astrological new year. And in the normal new year, I don't know, the Western calendar new year, whatever, December 31st, it's really common to set our New Year's goals and everything in the dead of winter arbitrarily. This is really the time to be setting our New Year's goals. This is the new year. This is the new year according to the universe, okay, beyond the Western calendar. Do you have any thoughts about setting some New Year's goals with the astrological new year?
Yes, like, oh my gosh, yes. The thing that I just kept thinking was, you know what Aries is? Aries is freaking direct. Aries isn't like it's like as the crow flies. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like, well, I don't know, and it could be, well, it might be. You do not hear an Aries speak like that. An Aries is like, look, this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be, and it's not going to be anything different. And so, you know,
Yes,
and I think sometimes that can really scare people. People are like, I don't really like Aries people. They're way too direct, or they're way too whatever. We get to tap into that. Like, we get to really direct our lives and be like, no, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to get. And hello.
yes, thank you so much. I just wanted to pull up this chart. This is the chart of Aries season, and there's the sun at 0000 of Aries, March 20th, 2023, which was a Monday. I just wanted to mention it because this is the astrological wheel, okay? And every person has the exact same wheel, and it's going to be lined up differently on the houses. Like maybe Aries will be over here, or maybe Cancer will be over here, but every person carries Aries energy in them. They all do, even if you have no planets in there. I disagree with that. And again, I have done this recently, but you think you have nothing in a house, and that's because you don't know what you're talking about, because there is actually an enormous amount of things, and all of a sudden every single house has something in it. And I don't know, nobody's energy is empty in any house. We all have a whole lot more going on than we're aware of, and the real issue is just our lack of awareness. It's not that things are not actually happening. So you do have Aries in your chart. Even if you're not an Aries sun or an Aries moon, you do have plenty of Aries in your soul. You have asteroids and mathematical points that are activating in Aries, and this is a power that all of us get to draw on, just like all of the other signs of the zodiac. We all have all of it within us, and we all have all of those strengths and possible weaknesses, and we get to choose into how we're going to use them in our own lives. So I hope that even if you feel like you don't carry a lot of energy of Aries within you, that you might take a minute to take a look at your natal chart. And I'll put a link below to where you can run a natal chart, but you can run your own natal chart. You can see where Aries is in your own soul, the house of your own energy, and be a little bit more conscious about how you're using it this Aries season.
Yeah, and even if it's just with yourself, like it doesn't have to be an outward thing, or it doesn't have to be something that you're saying with anybody else, but it's just something that you are like saying within yourself. When you have that chart pulled up, I noticed you had the sun was 0 degrees Aries, and then the very next sign was Mercury. And thank you. And when I listen, like when I'm listening to the planets and I'm listening to people's natal charts, what I hear from Mercury is what Mercury values in communication based on what sign it's in. And with Mercury being in Aries, Mercury very much values direct communication and just tell me how it is, and I will tell you how it is. But then we can make progress, and we can make progress together. And so this goes like right along with what we were talking about with setting our intention for our new year, and setting our intention for this season, is that we get to be direct about what it is that we want. Again, even if that's only with ourselves, even if we just sit down and we write for 2 minutes and we're like, this is what I want in my life. And we just say it how it is.
Thank you so much for that. And I think that's where we're going to end this video for today. I love that, setting the 2-minute timer and just write down, set those intentions, and you decide this is how it is. How is it going to be for you? And when you're writing something that you feel like you don't agree with, this happens. People say, I'm going to have my best life. And then they feel gross inside because they're like, I don't believe I'm going to have my best life. That's when you work through your issues instead of succumbing to that. And of course, I run allydosetclasses.com. You can go head on over there and start working in the free offering, start working through the parts of you that say you can't, or you shouldn't, or you don't deserve it. You do deserve it. Yeah, you can work through this. And so thank you so much, Cytel, for being here. This was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'll put all of Cytel's information below. And geez, I just love you so much. So thank you for being here.